Okay, well, I just got done seeing Joker Folie. Deux. Um, I read some things beforehand, some initial reviews, just a little bit, just to kind of see what the overall basic impression of the movie was, and what I got ahead of time was that a lot of people were thinking that it just kind of stepped on the fans, or the third act was just kind of like laughing at people who might have enjoyed the first movie or something like that. I don't know about that, because I really didn't care about that. I really didn't care about the movie at all. It meanders through aimlessly, and the story is non-existent. It's like it's full of C plots, basically. There's an attempt at a romance, I guess. There's nothing there with that. That's worthless. And the movie doesn't even try to make it seem like it's a big deal. It does the same thing with the whole jury aspect of it. It's like, okay, so are they trying to determine if he's guilty, or are they trying to determine if he's going to get the death penalty? Once again, I didn't care. It's like the movie wanted to be the opening 10 minutes of a different movie, and it just took forever to get there. And along the way, there's characters that are introduced, and I don't know if if their parts are supposed to be this small and pointless, or if they're just there. It was bad. It wasn't bad in the sense that I'm trying to think of anything positive to say. It wasn't making me angry. I was just sitting there and not caring about what was going on. I always try to think, okay, are there plot holes in a movie? Because sometimes that can be one thing that you can take a look at and say, hey, no matter what, this is something that is considered to be factually wrong with the film. It's something that the writer just couldn't figure out a way around, so they just left it in there, or something was edited out, or whatever the case may be. Well, there's barely any plot, so therefore it's kind of hard to have any plot holes. Yeah, certainly lots of things didn't make sense, but once again, this is a movie. It's like, oh, it's set in this fictional Gotham City, and maybe the rules of how they do things is just different. Yeah, do I believe that they would let prisoners walk around as freely as they did, or just I don't know. Once again, I didn't really care about some of those aspects of it. To really look at them and say, oh, this is a problem with the movie, it just didn't matter to me. If this was a much better movie, I would be totally okay with some of the decisions of how, the systems worked in the movie. Just like for instance, the judge seems to just be one of those judges who wants to crack down on if a person in the courtroom smiles the wrong way or something like that, but then yet he'll allow Joker be in his makeup. Once again, weird things like that, I truly didn't care about, whether they made sense or not, and for all the wrong reasons. If the movie was great, I wouldn't care about those things, but in this instance, I didn't care about anything, so I didn't care about those things. Yeah. I kept on thinking, well, what's the movie building to? I I mean, is it building to some romance? No. Is it building to some type of astonishing, edge on your seat courtroom verdict that could, that could change things through the testimonies of everyone? No. Is it and what we know about his ability to imagine things, half the time you don't know. I mean, you can come from out of nowhere and say, oh yeah, this character was imagined, that sequence was imagined. I mean, obviously most of the singing in it, most of the musical numbers were imagined, but and the musical numbers themselves, while it's not any music I would play and listen to, at least it wasn't any music that I was not liking. I mean, it was okay. I really did not care for Lady Gaga. She was just there, and I found her voice to be irritating. She could have been her acting ability or lack thereof was perfectly fine in this, because once again, I didn't care about her character, and therefore I really didn't care whether she could act or not. But yeah, there were so many moments where you're like, this could be happening for real, or maybe not. So am I supposed to be invested in this, or is this going to be something that, in the third act, it's revealed that this didn't happen and that didn't happen, and what you saw here was something. No, I mean, none of it is set up to be resolved. There's sequences that the characters don't have any motivation, just like the plot does not have any motivation behind it. It just kind of stumbles through, and things happen, and random scenes, like for instance, there's a scene where it's raining, and the guards are just looking at him standing in the rain, chained up to this fence, and it's like, okay, so they did this giant setup to have this shot in here, and why? I don't know. I mean, you could say, oh well, it shows externally how he felt from the previous scene. I mean, there's lots of shots and moments that happen that is just like, okay, I get it, and I'm getting it threefold now since you're just showing this random shot. Yes, I understand. You're wasting time. You're making this boring movie even more boring. It's almost sad that some of the musical scenes are some of the best parts in the movie, and they were things that I really didn't look forward to, in the months leading up to this, which is crazy to say. I will never ever see this again. I will not want to give it a second chance, because it's so surface level and so just drawn out that there is no, well, maybe I should give it a second chance. Maybe there's things I missed. Maybe there could be something better. I don't care. I mean, there could be some giant thing, some underlying aspect of the movie that went right over my head, and I still wouldn't care, because it was just a slog to get through. And it was only 2 hours and 18 minutes. But once again, when you have a movie that has so many things that could be cut out of it, and if you did cut those things out of it, the movie that you're left with is still boring. It'll be interesting to see, one, why people hate it. I mean, and for the people who like it, why they liked it. I do not recommend seeing this at all. You can look up a quick synopsis, and a few sentences, someone could easily tell you everything that happens in this, and it would be like, oh, okay. So that could have been like a tacked on scene at the end of the first Joker, or like I said earlier, it could have been the first 10 minutes of a Joker movie that could have went somewhere. I mean, I understand that the whole idea of, well, Joker's in prison, how's he going to get out of prison to do his things, to be able to do his things with Harley Quinn, to be able to be the villain with Batman. And it's obvious that the movie's not really trying to set those things up, but at least it would have been interesting and something that you might want to enjoy and at least be happy that something is happening. In this, you're just sitting there knowing that the ultimate end will eventually come, and you can finally say, well, at least I watched the entire thing and I can put my thoughts about it if anyone asks. And yeah, there's another movie with another clown coming out next week that I wholeheartedly know way ahead of time is going to be way better than this, and I look forward to that next week. But until then, hopefully I can get the bad taste of this out of my mouth, and I guess if anything, it makes the first Joker a little bit better. I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in the next one.